I'm the first speaker today, and we're actually talking about speaking and acting with power. Well, you know, sorry guys. So today we're talking about speaking and acting with power, and I know that all of us deal with this every day, and you know, it's something that sometimes we kind of get lost, we don't know where our slides are, like my slide is here, for example. Yeah, and
Stop, Bao.
you know, like...
Stop. It doesn't work this way. Your appearance, your gestures, and obvious lack of preparation, everything plays against you. But it's not about Bao. It's all about us. Every day, we have a lot of conversations with our professors, with our friends, with our classmates. And we easily may find ourselves in a situation when we unintentionally lose our power. So today we would like to focus on communication skills that will allow you to gain your power intentionally and to avoid a situation when you lose your power accidentally. And these communication skills are acting and speaking with power. So in the first part of our presentation, we would like to talk about acting with power, doing, for example, a presentation at work. Then we would like to move on speaking with power, because sometimes there is no opportunity to act with power. For example, on a phone interview, the only opportunity to communicate your power is to speak with power. So now let's come back to the beginning of our presentation, and let's look what mistakes Bao did and how she could do it differently.
Right. So obviously Bao knows to do this a lot better than she did today. But she did a few mistakes that we're going to go through today, just to give you an example of what you can do to make it better. So the first seconds, how did she appear? What is the first impression you have from your appearance? Acting with power means appearing powerful, having status in the room. And the way she looked was just not appropriate for this audience. There are studies that show that when you have a proper dress, when you have a suit, when you have a uniform, something that attributes status to you, people will perceive you as powerful. And Bao didn't do that. The second thing that Bao did is she didn't look very prepared. It was very obvious that she kind of had to look for her notes. She had to cling on to the facts that she had on the paper. She even was pointing to us and kind of looking for help. And when you act with power, you're on your own. People will perceive you as the person who is in charge and who knows what to do. And you don't look for excuses. One very important thing about acting with power is don't apologize, don't be sorry, don't be sad. In case of doubt, it's better to come across as aggressive than coming across as sad. And the last point is her gestures, her postures. We've heard a lot about that today, but just a few key points. Where did she stand in the room? Here with her nose. She was hiding. Where you want to be is, you want to be on the stage. You want to occupy the stage. You want to have some presence. And it's Bao did a great job in kind of like twisting around and showing this, and that's not where you want to be. You want to be right here in the middle, and you want to communicate and establish a presence with your audience. With that, I'd like to invite Fey and Svetlana to the stage to show us another example about how to speak with power.
So, good morning, Mr. Smith.
Good morning, Svetlana. So, Svetlana, what do you think is great about working at Google?
Oh yeah, before I entered Stanford Business School, I worked in McKinsey, and we had a great...
I worked there too. I was in the South Africa office.
Oh, really? Oh, this is great. I'm sorry, Mr. Smith, may I continue? So we had a great project with Google, and I realized that this is a great company. And I like its corporate culture. It promotes innovation and independent thinking, and I really need intellectual flexibility. I also like its mission. The company's mission is about organizing information and making it accessible all over the world. And people, yeah. Google has a lot of very smart, talented people. It's a great pleasure to work there, and fun, yeah. I like fun. I think it's really funny to work in Google. And, entrepreneurship. Yeah, entrepreneurship is also great.
What would you say your greatest strengths are?
I think I'm a proactive person. I always try to go beyond my direct responsibilities and add value to any task that I do and exceed the expectations. I'm also a very supportive person. And
that is not the way you do an interview. When you do an interview, you want to be the center of attention. When you do an interview, you want to speak with power. Be it if you want to be William, who wants people to remember where he is when you're doing a presentation, or you are Jason, who's a regular speaker here at the GSB, or you're like JD, who is the inspirational teacher for all of us. You want to speak with power. And today I'm going to introduce to everyone 3 different ways to speak with power. Firstly, interruptions. What could be now a hand there, and I could take that question. But what is better would be for me to say, I'll take that question later. Let me continue with what I have to say. The good thing about doing that is, 1, that you keep your audience focused on you and what your train of thoughts are. 2, you make sure that they are not distracted by any questions that come up. And 3, you maintain control. You keep control of what the scene is like and where the conversation is going. The second point, have the list of 3. Not 1, not 2, but 3. Now, having 3 clear and concise points help people know what they want to take away from your talk. Secondly, it helps you remember what you have to say. I remember now that I have 3 different points. And my third point, which I haven't covered, tells you that you want to take away 3 different points today from our presentation. And it makes sure that the audience keep track with what they are actually listening about. The last point, you want to have contrasting points. Why contrast? What happened to Svetlana earlier on when she said, I'm proactive, I usually participate, and I make sure that everyone is involved. Now that's all of us, I'm pretty sure, given you guys are GSB students. But what could be better would be for you to say, I had a colleague once who never took the initiative, but rather I decided that I wanted to do this or that instead. Hence, what could have been a really good interview for Svetlana was ruined because she allowed interruptions, because she did not have 3 clear and concise points, and she did not use the power of contrast. Now, what could be for everyone here is for you to take control, for you to be clear and concise in your points, and finally, to use the power of contrast that could make you all the better speakers and the powerful speakers that we all aim to be. I will now pass on to Fey to give you all clear and concise, concrete actions to take to reach this goal.
So we have seen how not to act and speak with power. And we have told you how to act and speak with power. But why does this matter to you? The answer lies in each and every one of your calendars. You have job interviews, you have presentations, and you have networking events. Acting and speaking with power at a job interview will allow you to communicate your expertise and core competencies excellently, landing you that dream job. At a presentation, acting and speaking with power will allow you to be more persuasive, really driving home those final points. And at networking events, imagine You're in a room full of hundreds of people, everyone looking to stand out. But how do you do that? The best way is to use acting and speaking with power to separate yourself, making you stand out from the crowd, turning yourself from one of those people who are looking for other people to potentially notice them, to that person who has everyone gravitate towards them. So, what's the takeaway for you today? We have created what we have aptly named a day-to-day guide to power. It is a list of items you can use every single day to make you a person who more frequently acts and speaks with power. By going through this guide, within a week, maybe 2, you will be seen and perceived by your peers and friends to be a much more powerful speaker, with the goal that you are better at interviewing, better at presenting, and also better at networking as well, making you the perfectly most well-rounded professional you could ever possibly be.